On this edition of Alberta Dugout Stories, the podcast, future stars head to Lethbridge for a showcase under the watchful eye of new Prep Baseball Report scouting director Todd Hubka. Welcome to episode 103 of Alberta Dugout Stories, the podcast. I'm Joe McFarland. Some of the province's best young baseball talent converged on Spitz Stadium in Lethbridge last week to take part in an open ID camp put on by Prep Baseball Report. The organization has bureaus all over North America providing coverage of young athletes through online profiles, scouting reports, metrics, and video. It provides an opportunity for the players to get some exposure, but it also gives schools the chance to scout talent from a distance. We had profiled PBR Alberta a while back when it was being run by Andrew McLean, and over the last few months it has undergone a major transformation. Leading the charge now is new scouting director and current Prairie Baseball Academy head coach Todd Hubka. He's enlisted a little help from a few friends across the province, including Ryan McDonald, Chance Wheatley, Sam Marino, Cam Williams, Riley Barrett, Akil Samuel, Shane Dawson, Taylor Burns, and Jordan Blundell. It's quite the staff already on board. We chatted with Hubka about the team and the goal, and we also checked in on what's happening at the Prairie Baseball Academy. Todd, thanks so much for joining us here on the podcast.
Hey, how's it going today?
It is going fantastic. I gotta say, though, I thought I was busy, and then I saw what you've been up to and went, okay, I can't complain about anything at this rate. I want to start off with the latest hat that you've added to your resume, and that is being with PBR, being the guy front and center with that. How did that all come about?
Yeah, it's, it all started about, I'm guessing about 5 years ago, and Chris Kemlow, who's the face of PBR Canada, talked to me back then about, being the PBR rep, and I just said, man, I'm so busy with the Prairie Baseball Academy. I just don't think I can do this and fulfill that type of commitment. And so I turned him down, and anyway, he reached out to me again here, a couple months ago, and I think we came up with a game plan that's going to work and help, all these young players in Alberta be seen throughout North America. And, and to be honest with you, we have some really good people put in place right now throughout the province. And also, on administration side here that, for me to be able to do this, there's a lot of guys doing a lot of work that are doing a really good job at it. And, it looks like me that gets all the credit, and I appreciate that. Things like this, it takes a lot of people, and it's a lot of people that are the ones doing the work. So I appreciate that.
I want to talk about that teamwork side of it for a second, because as the announcements rolled out, you could see that it's almost every corner of this province is covered by someone. How important was it from your standpoint to make sure that no one was getting left behind in the grand scheme of things, and that there was some exposure happening in every corner?
Yeah, that was baseball is a small world, and everybody knows everybody, throughout Canada, and a lot of times even in the U.S. And it was easy to reach out to people that I know throughout the province, and to make sure that all regions of Alberta are covered in this. And I've had nothing but whoever I've asked, and they've been excited to say, yeah, I want to join this and see where how big we can build it. And the people that we have put in place, like I said, are doing a great job, and I do believe we still need to add people to it. It's the more people we have, the more exposure everybody gets. So as we move forward with this and holding some other events, I think that adding some more associate scouts to help out and to take those videos and just reach out to everybody that they know too, so we're not missing anybody, and looking forward to grow it even more.
Is it one of those situations where everybody kind of puts down their swords in a sense? Because it almost felt like for a while there is that everybody was in their own little echo chamber, their own little silo, and now all of a sudden everybody's saying, listen, let's do this for the betterment of the community and the baseball community in this province as a whole.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I think that's, partly uh, with that age group, I don't have any ties to anybody. I respect every organization in the province. And I think that's helping that, there's no hidden agendas here or anything. I'm here to promote kids in Alberta and, just to build it. And, the more we can promote, it's baseball's going to grow because of it. So, um, that's why the people we put in place are the people that we put in place, is so, there is no hidden agendas, and we can just grow the game.
How excited are you about this notion of being able to promote the game, but also promote some of these young athletes who maybe didn't have something like this before, something to put into their own tool chest?
Yeah, it's there used to be a few years ago, like Walt Burrows used to be the ML Bureau guy for Canada, and you know and Walt did a hell of a job, looking under every rock to find talent throughout the provinces. And since MLB took that away, um, there has been a void of something of this kind. And Chris Kemlo, he brought up, hey, we're the new MLB bureau type thing. We're looking under rocks and we're trying to find talent. And the event that we held down here last week or whatever, it showed that there's kids in this province that go unnoticed and that have talent. And we have people put in place that just don't look at stats to find out if a kid can play or not. There was a lot of great athletes down here last week. And uh whether that's they showed their tools, whether it was running, hitting, throwing, fielding, whatever those tools were. It was pretty awesome to see some of these kids that that I didn't know about, that just came out of the woodwork and showed off their skills. So, like I said, I think we can build this and help those kids fulfill the dreams that they want to fulfill. So
I wanted to talk a little bit about that event from last week or so here. Talk a little bit about that and putting it all together. It felt like it came together really quick. And then when you talk to some of the athletes and you talk to some of the people involved, it sounds like it went off without a hitch.
yeah, it would. We because of the numbers that we had, we decided to break the group into half and so we could do that social distancing thing. And the neat thing about the event is it was an event like that. It was really individualized, right? Like it was specific, infielders fielding ground balls or hitting. And I think that's what it, and it was nice having some PBR guys here too, that normally we wouldn't have 8 associates here doing it. And it was nice having everybody here for that first event to see how it's ran and to make it go off like it did. I thought, we were there from 8 o'clock in the morning till about 8 o'clock at night, trying to, get all the filming done of everybody. And it went really well. And hats off to everybody that was involved with it.
Anything from your standpoint that you'd like to improve upon so that the next one is bigger and better?
Yeah, like the things that I would like to add to it are the aspect that usually at PBR events there's games being played, and because of social distancing and people coming from all over, we stayed away from that, and we just made sure it was just individualized. Moving forward, you know, where this COVID thing goes, like we would love to be able to do individualize all the swings and the running and throwing and fielding, but also play games, make it a 2-day event type thing where you play a game the next day and, see how kids react in games. And, there's so many things that the game aspect brings that, that kids get to show those type of tools off, the game side tools that, the feel of the game and everything like that. So for sure, we'd like to add that moving forward. We would love to have like a PBR Canada event where, the best players in Alberta and throughout the provinces are coming to, whether it's here, BC, Saskatchewan, wherever it is, and hold these events where the best players and are playing against each other. And you hold events like that, and all of a sudden, there's, the scouts show up, the schools show up, and I just think we can just keep adding to this thing and make it bigger and better.
That's a cool thing about this, too, is it's not just for the athletes who are looking for another avenue to do some self-promotion, but you also have the colleges who can now log in online and see some of these possible new recruits, and they don't have to leave the comforts of their own homes.
Yeah, I think that's what's neat about it is that it's, when I promote PBA kids to other places, you fall in love with the players that you have, and you want to promote them and send them on to bigger and better. And the neat thing about this is it's, here you go, this is what it is, and you guys get to decide whether that individual player fits your profile that you're looking for as a college athlete. And and then there is no gray area of a coach saying certain things. It's on video. It shows what the kid's like, and his skill set and athleticism, and they get to decide for themselves. So very beneficial for the kids for sure.
Let's switch gears a little bit here and talk a little bit about the last few months, because COVID really bit into the season for Prairie Baseball Academy, and I know you're getting ready to open things back up again. What's the last few months been like as you've been trying to prepare to open up the doors again?
Yeah, I think that, with everything put in place and Mr. Kavami is involved with, the Prairie Baseball Academy, along with a lot of other baseball organizations. And he's kind of been the lead behind talking with the government and make sure that we're following specifics on what we can and can't do. And moving forward into the fall, we'll keep doing that. We'll keep following guidelines, and we're going to try to keep this thing as normal as possible. And we know normal isn't the usual normal, but I'm glad we're doing it. I'm glad we're moving forward, and there's going to be a whole bunch of new rules at Prairie Baseball this fall, to hopefully stay safe throughout the fall and the springtime, and make sure that this season goes off. So, it's crazy what we're going through right now. And I think that by what we've put in place, I think that, we're going to be able to do that. And, with the classes being online, I know there's times that we're going to be able to, individualize a little bit more, and kids can come earlier than usual, and so we can practice that social distancing more than what we usually do. But also with we got the disinfectant, we got the masks, we got everything to do this the right way. And I think that as long as we respect each other and respect what this is, I think we're going to be fine and pull this thing off. So
It seemed as though you were able to take advantage of a little bit of downtime as well, because Lloyd Nolan Park looks pretty darn good.
Yeah, that goes back to Coach Kuby days. Like he was a yard rat, and he was so proud of this facility when he built it, and I think by us doing what we're doing to the facility and trying to add that extra to everything we do, it's looking really good right now, which is good and which is bad. I'm going to be upset when we play a game or whatever, and you got a little moisture on the infield, we start ripping it up. It's going to be kids, get off the field.
There's that picturesque moment that you have with it, and then it all of a sudden gets ruined in about half an hour, doesn't it?
Yeah, and then by the end of fall, we're back to where we were, last March.
Talk a little bit about, from a student perspective and an athlete perspective, some of the changes that they can expect as they head on out to PBA now.
Yeah, as college students, it's, like I said, everything is for the most part going to be online for the kids. And I think that, our standpoint with PBA, we're still, we're hoping that we can play games against the other academies around this area and try to be as normal as possible. The rules are, we just got to be careful when we're not at Prairie Baseball Academy, where, where we're going, and we can't go to places where there's, and I get it. It's a college life too, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we just got to be really careful at where we go and make sure that we are, respecting everybody else in the program, to social distance as much as we can. So
you mentioned the work that Kevin's been doing. I'm curious from your standpoint as well. Have you been chatting a lot with some of your CCBC colleagues as well to see, what's going on, say, in Okanagan or wherever the case may be?
Yeah, there's, we actually have a CCBC meeting here on Thursday night to discuss how everyone's doing and moving forward. And, we're all in the same boat with this. It sounds like everyone is moving forward in the fall. And, we'll know a lot more after the Thursday night meeting. But I think, like I said, if we respect one another and respect our programs, I think that we can for sure have a safe and enjoyable year.
As much as you don't want to rip up the field, how excited are you for the notion of hearing the bats cracking and the players getting onto the field again on a semi-regular basis instead of some of these one-offs and some of the training sessions and that kind of thing?
Yeah, really looking forward to that. It's fun with the kids that you have coming back and the new ones that are coming in, just to, you're there for like 2 days and you start, you start putting in your head what it's going to look like in the spring. And I really like the group of new kids that are coming in. I really like the kids that we have coming back. And I really think that we have a chance to have a pretty good team here this year. And hopefully, everyone stays safe. Hopefully everyone takes care of the classroom and we have a great spring season.
Chomping at the bit a little bit because this summer feels like it's lasted forever.
Yeah, it's going to be nice to have the kids back, and like it's, we didn't know where this was going back in March, and as the coaches here down at Prairie Baseball, there's, it wasn't just Lloyd Nolan we were looking after. We're looking after Spitz Stadium. We're looking after, 11 Little League fields too. Mm-hmm. And, we usually have summer help that that helps us in that department. And we didn't know what, if Little League was going to happen. And so, it wasn't until mid-June or whatever that there was 3 of us trying to, maintain all these fields in the city. And so, were we getting a break? Not really. We've been pretty busy trying to just, get ready for the fall and also just the maintenance of everything. So, but yeah, no, I'm looking forward to it.
I think everyone's pretty excited to see a little bit more local baseball here in this province before the year is up. Todd, again, congratulations on the new post with Prep Baseball Report. All the best with Prairie Baseball Academy, and thanks so much for joining us here on the podcast again.
Hey, what you guys do, appreciate it.
Thanks again to Todd Hubka for joining us this week, and thanks to all of you for downloading and listening. Speaking of Alberta athletes being seen and moving on to bigger and better things, there have been a few announcements about commitments to college schools over the last few weeks. We're going to chat with a couple of those players on next week's edition of the podcast, and we're working on some profiles for the website, so stay tuned for all of it. Until then, thanks so much for all of your support, no matter the platform, of Alberta Dugout Stories.